Marcus, and you are listening to Marcus Speaks. On this glorious August 10th day, and I want to let everybody know that this is episode 20. I've been doing this for a while now, since probably mid to late April. And I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast. Very grateful. The last episode has done 29 views. Like I said, any view, even if it's one view, I'm grateful for it. And I hope to have you guys share, like, and subscribe to the ones who haven't already done so. For the ones who are subscribed, please share this. And to the people who haven't subscribed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can know about every new video that comes. And also, for the people who have subscribed, I would like to let you guys know, please share this to anyone that you know that's willing to listen, that's willing to take just, an hour out of their day to listen to my podcast. All right. So everybody, today I have I had an episode last week speaking about the effects of pornography in relationships. And like I said, the episode did pretty well. And I want to sort of kind of follow up on that same type of effect thing. And please excuse if I spelled the first part wrong. I wasn't sure if it was effect or effect. So effect or effect. So I'm not sure. So anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. But today's episode is about the effects of video games in relationships. So, me, myself, personally, I'm an avid video game player. Not so much like I've been wanting to in the past. I haven't really been able to because I'm busy with the podcast and work and socializing and stuff like that. So it's not much I can do on the video game side. So when I am able to, I'll pick up the game for at least a good couple hours or so. So in my past, I've had, in my relationships, I have played video games as well, and I've been playing video games for at least, I'll say 26 years now. Since I was 4, I started playing. So let's get into this topic. So, what are the effects of playing video games in a relationship? I have found within my own research that I'm gonna give off today, and within my own personal life, I feel like video games personally don't affect the relationship that much, because if you look at it, more so video games for people is more of an outlet, so to speak. It naturally gives us like a calm within ourselves, because we have to deal with different problems which the game gives off. It's more of a thinking type thing now with video games. You have to think within milliseconds of every move you're gonna make, every move you're gonna make on the game. Like it's calculated in milliseconds within the brain. I feel so. But not only is that, video games also, most video games give off a in most games, they can sharpen the brain a little bit. So, you may not have been able to really problem solve as well within like your ordinary life, but with a video game, you're probably able to problem solve quicker than you would normally know how to. So, I personally feel as though that video games is I would say it's good if your significant other or partner or so to speak is also in video games or isn't or doesn't feel as though that video games get in the way of the relationship. Doesn't feel like if you have an attention junkie on your hands that mostly wants attention focused on them, then that's when a relationship with a video game as a hobby will start to crumble, because there's going to be a lot of blame of you not giving them the necessary attention that you give the other person. And also, I feel as though that within a relationship, if one of the people are playing video games, it's just some me time. You know what I mean? Like, every couple needs their separate me time, and within you being able to show independence within your relationship, I feel as though is it's a good thing, because they say separation from someone that you love is good, and is good for the relationship, because you spend more time missing the person than you would if you weren't not always not around them or so. So with that being said, some research that I looked up about this topic, it says within certain relationships, couples can play video games together as a means to spend more time with one another. And I feel as though that is true, because let's say to anyone, to any gender, let's say that you are with someone and they never played a video game a day in their lives. So within a relationship, you want to teach each other. So that could be a tool of which you teach your boyfriend or your girlfriend how to play a video game. So I would say start out slow. I would say the most easiest game for anyone to pick up is a Mario game from Nintendo. That's probably one of the most easiest games that anyone can pick up. I picked it up when I was younger, at 4 years old, when I started playing video games. That was my introduction into video games. So if I meet someone that's never, played a video game or never had the desire to play a video game, and they're naturally within themselves interested in what their partner is interested in, then that's where I would introduce. I play video games, and one of my favorite video games to play is Super Mario. So I would start them off with that, and I would teach them how to play. What's the buttons, what's the objective of the game, what to do, what certain power-ups mean, what certain power-ups do, and stuff like that. Like, just teach them, within a sense of them getting familiar with, a hobby of yours. So, gaming together in some instance is a way for somebody to express an interest in what their significant other does for enjoyment, and to participate in the activity with them. Like I said, if you have someone that is personally interested in what you're interested to, it won't be a problem. So also I was reading some articles on how certain guys were getting divorced from their wives, but it wasn't the man divorcing the woman, it was the woman divorcing the man, because the woman felt as though that she wasn't getting the proper time or the proper romantic time and stuff like that. Like, I read one article where this woman was writing saying that her husband had naturally never played a video game a day in his life as a young man, but as he got older, he started picking up some of the newer games that are out now, which are mostly story based, and they're like most games now have a plot. They have a protagonist, an antagonist. It's an objective of collecting things and stuff like that, powering up and stuff like that. So when you get to the end of the game, you can beat whoever the big boss is at the end. So basically, that's within that, the lady was saying that her husband would wake up around about 6 a.m. He wouldn't get off, or she would, go to bed and wake up certain hours of, the middle of the night, and he still was there, sitting in the same spot that she left him in. So she initially thought, that it was putting detriment onto their relationship. So with that, a con of it is video, which I've pulled off of the internet, and the person who had wrote this article is Julie Ellis. I just want to give the proper recognition of where I found this information from, so it doesn't seem as though that I wrote this stuff. So she says with one of the cons is video games can leave one half of a couple feeling abandoned. When people playing video games become more than an entertainment hobby, the result can be that one half of couple feels like a video game widow or widower. Anytime somebody is in a relationship, feels as if video games are another hobby, is more important than their partner, than they are relationship is at serious risk. Too much time spent gaming can definitely harm a relationship. I believe it, that's true, but there's a dichotomy with that. The negative thing about what is said is that what I just said earlier. If you have a woman that's an attention junkie, this will be a problem. So personally, with the lady writing that one part of the couple, which will be the female body, the female person, feels like a widow or whatever. I don't feel like that's accurate, because the person's not abandoning you in a sense. It's just that certain people have certain mindsets. So if he feels though that the game is more important than you, instead of balancing the two, and that's with any hobby, that's just not video games. With any hobby, if male or female doesn't correctly make time for their significant other, within a sense of allowing themselves to uh, chop certain times out for, certain activities. So, I also read an article where, it was saying that a man missed everything, children's graduations and football games and recitals and stuff like that. I feel as though, most of the stuff was written was to an extreme, but it's trying to paint a picture of what can happen with it, and what can, in a result, how people can feel about it. And it brought me to the it's basically within the psychiatric community. They're trying to come up with a term for it, and the term so far of what they've came with it is video game addiction. So in the psychiatric Bible, so to speak, of the United States, and I'm pretty sure it's all over the world, but I'm pretty sure it's the one that we use here in the States is just normally geared towards stuff here in the States. So the DSM, I think they're on 5, if not 6 now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're still on 5. Within this book, it's a real big book. It costs about like $60 to $80, and I have one. I have 2 myself. I have the DSM-4, the desk edition. It's a gray book with like blue letters and stuff on it. The DSM-5, the big book, like it looks like a school textbook. It's a paperback. It's purple with white letters. They try to fight within the councils around the world. There's certain people that come together. Certain, the government is involved. They fight to get certain diagnosis into the book, and certain diagnosis out of the book. So video game addiction is one of the ones that they're trying to fight into the book, but I think it's listed under like common addiction or whatever. So, but don't quote me because I could be wrong. But what within them calling it an addiction, it's far off from what it is, because an addiction is something that you need to use every day. You can personally put down a video game every other day if you wanted to. Like, let's say I wanted to play today, but I don't want to play tomorrow. That's not an addiction. Like, that's me setting time or whatever. But what the articles was saying was that video game addiction is real, and video game addiction within relationships is real. So certain like significant others aren't getting the proper lap time that's supposed to be permitted to them. So mostly people who feel as though that video games get in the way of their relationship. That's basically where the study was coming from. So the last part of what I was reading, just a little while ago before I got into the cons, last part of it was, this always has a positive impact on relationships, which is them participating in your significant other, male or female, participating in the activity with you. It always has a positive impact on the relationship, which I can't say anything on that because I know that to be true. When I was living with a girlfriend of mine, she sort of kind of played video games too. So it was kind of a plus because it wouldn't be her yelling at me all the time about me being on video games. Most of the time, when I would come home from work, she would be on the couch watching TV. I will come sit down next to her. She'll hand me the remote, and she'll be like, "Go ahead. You can watch what you want. You can do what you want. If you want to play the game, go ahead." I'm on my phone. I'm not really looking at the TV. So I would make sure everything around the house and outside the house was complete, like all chores, everything. So before I could, sit down and do what I wanted to do, I would know that, nothing else will bother me, so I can play the game. So usually I will play the game if I wanted to. Most of the time I was either watching like Sports Center or watching a TV show or something like that. So normally, on a regular day, it would just be me watching TV. But if, I wanted to, if it was a game that I was interested in playing, then I would play the game. And she would sit there and she would ask questions, which that goes along with what, I was talking about, a positive impact on the relationship. That showed me that she was interested in what I was playing. Like what are you doing? Like, what are you playing? Like, what's the outcome? Like, what are you doing now? Does the character that you're playing have a name? What's the occupation if he has one? So I would answer the questions and tell her, the guy's name is Kenway. He's an assassin. He's also a pirate. I have to go around on the ship and go to different places within the map. I have to commit certain assassinations to progress into the story. I got to collect certain items, stuff like that. I can do side quests, which is, I can fish. I can go whale hunting, shark hunting, stuff like that. So she was getting interested, so it was like, well, let me play. So I created her an account and I passed the controller, and she basically was like, hey, just teach me how to play, just the basics, and I'll just learn everything on my own later on. So I was like, okay, well, this is what you do. This is how you walk, push the toggle forward to run backwards. You push it back, side to side if you want to turn, stuff like that. This is how you move the camera with your right thumb. This is how you look around to see what's around you. This is light hit. This is heavy hit. Whatever. So, she got very interested in playing the games. So she was like, well, do you like playing fighting games? I was like, yeah, I got a couple fighting games that I play. You want to play one? So she was like, yeah. So, we played, and she beat me a couple times. I beat her a few times, and it was, we were communicating through playing video games or whatever. Which, it made me feel more secure with knowing that my hobby won't get in the way of our relationship or whatever. So that made me feel better. So another note that I got off of this, it was like another article I was reading. It says, before getting into a relationship with a girl or male, find out if she likes or he likes to play video games, as this will eliminate all future arguments concerning video games. And I cannot stress that enough. Usually on a first date, that's when people spill out, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies and stuff like that. I would say that one, saying that I play video games, is probably critical to getting into a relationship, because you don't really need to explain yourself, but in a way you do have to say, I like to do this, I like to do that, I play video games, give it a time frame. I've been playing video games for a while, blah, 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 whatever. So, also it says, refrain from talking about video games to your girlfriend or boyfriend, as this may cause her to hate the idea of how involved you are with video games. Yeah. If you have someone that when you talk about certain things and their disinterest shows on their face, it's best if you quit talking about it, because let's say they're around you when you are playing the video game, they could get very upset that you're more excited and more involved in something that's not real than her or him or whatever. So let's give that a thought real fast. So the last one is be honest about your gaming activity so she feels more in tune with your video gaming world, even if she's not playing with you. I would say that's important, because if you let her know, be honest. If you tell her, I'm gonna be over so and so's house. We're having NBA 2K tournament today. It's like 6 of us. We're all putting in like $20 or whatever. Whoever wins the thing wins the pot, whatever. Just making sure that you're forward and honest with her, with everything. So a pro, which the pros and cons of Julie Ellis's research, a pro of it is video games can provide couples with needed space, and I can say that to be true, because like I was saying, in a relationship, needed space is needed. Mostly, most couples don't live together, but within a percentage, I don't know, I'm just gonna spit out a number, like 83% of like single couples, like couples that aren't married, they mostly they don't live with each other. So you're getting your space with not being around them as much, but you're also getting your space by doing what you want to do. But let's say you live together, like I was with one of my exes. I would say that we were in an apartment, so there was the living room, kitchen, then the bedroom, stuff like that. So if she wanted space from me, her hobby was sleeping. She liked to sleep. My hobby was video games or watching TV. So I would play video games. That would be my me time. Her sleep would be her me time. So the article, the part of the pro says, to maintain a healthy relationship, you and your significant other must have your own interests. If video gaming happens to be that interest for one or both, there is nothing automatically wrong with that. Playing video games as a hobby is no more detrimental to a relationship than playing golf or knitting. If it gives each member of a couple a bit of time to themselves, video gaming can definitely help a relationship. The only caveat to this is that both parties in the relationship should be permitted and encouraged to pursue solo interests. Yeah. If you had, like, let's say, as a man, your interest is gaming. Let's say your girlfriend's interest is dancing. She likes to dance or whatever, like classical dance or, you know, just regular dancing or whatever. You should encourage that type of activity or whatever, because not only do you give a sense of balance within the relationship, you also give a sense of you care about their own personal interests. So if your personal interest is gaming and she doesn't mind you gaming, then, you know, you have somebody to hold on to, and that's nothing wrong with that. Another pro is gaming together can be a way for couples to connect. And the lady mostly expounded on what I was saying, but I think she gives it in better detail. Video games do not need to be a solo activity. Couples can play video games together as a means to spend more time with one another. Yeah, if you have a girlfriend that likes playing video games with you, and she likes spending time with you, and let's say one of the activities that you guys do is playing video games together, then there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you have somebody that likes to do what you do, that loves being around you and the things that you do. So if video gaming is one of them, and she likes to play video games with you, then you gotta wonder, man. Like, you don't have to, you know, be dishonest about anything about as far as like your gaming or whatever, because you can always call her in the room, be like, yo, you want to play so and so? They be like, yeah, let's do this. So also she says couples with a bit of competitive streak can play games against one another. A second alternative is that couples can team up together to defeat video games or play online games with one another. This guy I used to work with, he was telling me how he met his wife. He met his wife off of a video game. She lived in his area, so he was playing some computer game, and they connected. He was in some trouble or whatever. She came to his aid. They started talking to one another. They started showing that, hey, I live here. I live, you know, right next to you. They started dating. They have a wonderful relationship from what I saw. They collect bugs together. They collect animals together. They collect video games. They collect cards. They play board games and shit like that. Like, they're like a well-rounded couple or whatever. But one of the things that brought them together was video games. So they both share that with each other. So they're mostly computer gamers. So the guy built him a computer and built his girlfriend a computer or whatever. So they both can, you know, connect and playing video games without lag and stuff like that. So couples who participate in gaming together do not simply spend more time with one another. They also communicate more. Gaming together is some instance is a way for somebody to express an interest in what their significant other does for enjoyment. Sorry. Shit. And to participate in that activity with them, this always has a positive impact on relationships. Like I said, she expounded more on what I was saying, and she made it flow more, because you may not be able to find somebody that likes to play video games, and that's okay also, because, you know, you have your own personal interests. So does she or he, and you know, it's all about sharing at the end of the day. So, you know, you share. If she cares enough to listen, you just share something that happened to you, you know, while you was playing video games. Oh, well, you know, I was playing this game, and, you know, it was going good, and then some crazy stuff happened within the game, and I died a few times until I got it right. Whatever. One of the cons she puts down is easily influenced players can pick up antisocial behaviors. So mostly that means that their mind is more on playing a video game than being around people. So if you have like a family event or a work event and stuff like that, they may not want to go to that event because gaming is more on their mind than being around people that they don't know that they don't want to make friends with to socialize around. So she says the average person can spend a few hours playing video games that are highly competitive in nature or even violent without exhibiting any negative behavior changes. Unfortunately, there are a few individuals who cannot do this. Instead, these folks become irritable, isolated, and in some instances aggressive. This can be more troublesome with male gamers who can be badly influenced by the extremely sexiness subculture that permeates the world of online. Multiplayer games, when these behaviors impact a relationship, the result can be permanent damage to a relationship. In extreme cases, verbal abuse and even relationship violence can occur. I personally don't know that statistic or that information. I've never known that to be true. I personally can't agree or disagree with that, but if most games are showing that with some individuals that the violence that they see in the game that they feel as though that they can do in real life to someone else, I will say that they need some type of psychiatric help or something like that. But in most cases, I don't know. So I'm just gonna take her information that she gave, and I'm gonna research that more, and maybe I'll make it a like a part 2 to this or something like that. So a pro she has on here is couples can use video games to get fit together. There are certain video games out here that you can be standing upright and exercise or dance or something like that. There's Just Dance that they have. That's out. They have Guitar Hero. They have Band Hero, I think. With the Wii, with the old Wii games, they had Wii Fit. Where you did like yoga and stuff like that. Certain Xbox Connect games, when the Connect was introduced to the 360, they had some like boxing games and stuff like that. They had like a boxing and golfing game on the Wii, baseball or whatever. Just making your body more active with the video game as you play it, whatever. And I've had a few of these titles or whatever where you can be standing upright while playing the video game. So not only are you playing the game, you can, you're working out, you're sweating and stuff like that. So it says people who are more physically fit feel better about the way they look and they have more energy. This combination is a key factor in having a great romantic life. How can video games contribute to physical fitness? Many modern video game consoles have interfaces that require movement and support games that encourage physical activity. These games require that the people who play them dance, run, and simulate the movements required to box. hit a baseball, bowl, ski, or participate in other sports. This means that a couple can spend time with one another and improve other aspects of their relationship. I remember when I had the Wii, the first Wii. I think their Wii Sports 2 had came out, and it had a basketball, like a 3-point shootout type game. And I had sold off my Wii, but I still had the games, just to sell them or something. So when I had got into that relationship, when I was with my ex I was living with, her daughter had a Wii, so I just gave the games to her. So, when we would have like game night or something like that, certain stuff that like couples do now, we would have like game at night. I had pulled out from like my stuff, like my junk stuff. I got this game. I hope it plays, because it has a couple newer games than the other Wii Sports had. Other than bowling and stuff like that. Like you can throw simulate throwing a football. You can do a 3-point shootout and stuff like that. So let's play. So we have fun doing that or whatever. And we both were into fitness too. So like we played Just Dance a few times. Because it's competitive at the same time if you're going against each other. Also, and you're getting up, you're active, your heart rate's it's going up and stuff like that. So your stuff like that. So video games and fitness in certain aspects with a relationship can go hand in hand. So the last con of the article is couples can fall into a pattern of using video games as a means to avoid real issues. So, such as having like an argument or something like that. Like, instead of them, I won't say like pleading their case, I would say more so like they just want to walk away and get away from the situation or whatever. So the article says it takes a lot of focus and attention to play a video game, and that's true. If your focus gets broken off of a video game that's like very intense and it demands attention because anything can change at any given time and you can miss anything, that can be an issue, but it's not an issue that you argue over. So, let's say you turned away from the screen for like 2 minutes. Within that 2 minutes, you probably lost lots of vital information that could be helpful at the end of you playing the game. So also it says a gaming session that begins early in the evening may not end until it's time for a couple to go to sleep. This can mean hours of fun for a couple. It can also mean hours time spent not working on the relationship, not hashing out problems, and avoiding difficult conversations. When this happens, problems that need to be dealt with fester and grow until they become a major issue in the relationship. Even worse, this relationship simply atrophies from neglect. So, damn, she said a lot in that damn snippet, but I would say, yeah, that's true, because if you don't deal with certain issues and you're more involved in gaming, then little stuff will become big stuff. And even the game may become something big when it was something small in the beginning. So, most of the time, I would say that with with video gaming and being in a relationship, like, don't let video gaming cause a relationship to end, because you never know, what you could have worked out and what you could have, like, done to better the relationship. Like, it could be something as small as, hey babe, can you reach for this for me, or can you help me with this, or something like that. Like, if if gaming is that more important than being around your significant other, then I can see where a problem can occur. Something small can become real big. So, that was a lot. That was a lot to see. I didn't really get to look at a lot of other articles, because I was looking at like 3 at a time, and I was just getting information just to get this episode going or whatever. So yeah, we've reached the end of the podcast. And as always, like I said in the beginning, if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, like the video, hit the bell icon, and just leave a little comment just saying if you liked it or not, or something like that, or tell me if this is helpful or something like that. If you're already a subscriber, please share this with somebody that you feel as though haven't heard my words yet, haven't heard other episodes that I've done on relationships and stuff like that. And also, I would like to say that just be you. Like, if the person that you fell in love with still loves you, even if you piss them off over something that you've done, or that you're not doing, but they still want to stick in there, just give them their needed attention, and then you'll see how later on that'll pay off. So this has been another episode, the 20th episode, I should say, of Marcus Speaks, and thank you for listening. Go out there, have fun. It's Saturday, so as I always say, tell somebody and have them tell somebody. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.